I saw this nonsensical article making the rounds today, and I just couldn't pass up the opportunity to, well, dunk on the author in this article from the Direct. Marvel has now killed off 5 OG female heroes in the MCU because, you know, you want equality in the movies, but hey, you don't want equal treatment for your female characters in the movies, maybe? Huh. I'll get into that in a moment. I find it interesting that they have they have Scarlet Witch and not Peggy Carter, Gamora. Oh my goodness. Gamora front and center as being killed off. Did I miss something? I don't think I did. But Marvel Studios has evolved a lot over the years in regards to its women, both in front of and behind the camera, because we absolutely have to start off with a message right in the first paragraph, but has killed off too many of its original female heroes, because, of course, let's see, what started as a franchise with rumored infamous rules about the permitted roles of women, namely no female leads and no female villains. Well, why the hell couldn't we have female villains? That's silly. I've heard a few rumors that this is actually true. Somebody behind the scenes maybe didn't believe that a woman could lead a movie. Unfortunately, Black Widow's movie didn't really do it any justice, but is that the fault of Black Widow? Or is that the fault of doing it day and date on streaming and at the theaters? Pretty sure that kind of killed the idea of the movie. Huh. And no female directors. Now that, make your own opinions on that one. No female directors. Insight has turned into one with women at the forefront of many projects, like, I wouldn't use these as examples. Black Widow didn't do all that well. WandaVision, how many people remember it? Hawkeye, I never watched it. That being said, there's one thing some Marvel fans have taken noticed. Oh my goodness. Okay. Let me restart that. I'm going to reset my head a little bit there for a second. That being said, there's one thing some Marvel fans have taken notice of that's not so great in terms of the studio's optics when it comes to its female characters, because that's all that matters is the female characters. That's the only thing that matters. Not stories, not the male characters. Heaven forbid, we shouldn't pay attention to them. Not the story, not the journey, not the character arcs, nothing like that. Just got to pay attention to the fact that they have a female character. The early years of the MCU had relatively few of them because, anyway, I'm not even going to get into the reasoning behind that. But the ones that were present made an impact on audiences, and some quickly became fan favorites. Now, that is entirely true. Black Widow, Gamora, and originally the Scarlet Witch were very popular. I will definitely give this article that. Nowadays, there are exceptionally more female leads. Well, if there are exceptionally more female leads in the franchise, then why are you writing this article to moan, groan, whinge, and complain? Huh. Many still view those from the MCU's first several years with certain reverence. Really? Probably because they were better written than the garbage that they're pushing out today. That could be because, well, the original movies weren't owned by Disney. Many still... Okay. That's why it's so disappointing that virtually all of the major ones have been killed off, a statistic that has been added to with the recent premiere of Secret Invasion. Yeah, spoiler alert. So let's start with Peggy Carter. The author even mentions that Peggy Carter was originally just a side character, sort of a love interest to Steve Rogers, and that she died of old age. So I'm sorry. If you get to include her, I get to include somebody else in my list whenever I finish with this garbage. So, Peggy Carter. Peggy Carter died of old age. She was not killed. She died of old age. That's the thing people do. Next one, Gamora. I'm sorry. Can Gamora really be allowed on the list? Because she came back. She's not dead. She's still in Guardians 3. She's not dead. So why would you include Gamora? Huh. Maybe to send a message. Or trying to include the original version, saying the original version was killed off and the new version that we have isn't really Gamora, even though it kind of sort of is. Now, Black Widow, you definitely have to give it up for Black Widow. Black Widow sacrificed herself. She was definitely a fan favorite, a wonderful character. She had no superpowers other than her good looks, her charm, her dexterity, ingenuity, all those wonderful things. Sure, Black Widow was a wonderful character, at least until they ruined her in the movie. So, technically, I'll give this list 1. I'm going to give the list all 5 of them, really. If you think the Scarlet Witch is dead for good, then I don't know what to tell you. They're not going to leave her dead. She will be back in the next movie, whatever the next movie is going to be. She's going to be back in the MCU in some way, shape, or form. Same actress, same character. She will, well, maybe a redemption arc. God, it's going to happen. Now, the last one, of course, if you haven't seen Secret Invasion and you still want to, well, they killed off Maria Hill. More than likely, the article mentions it as fridging. And if you don't know what fridging is, bless you. Unfortunately, I have found out. Fridging is the trope of using a female character, love interest, and their death in order to push the hero to do something noble. It's a motivation for their actions. I'm so glad I don't remember who coined the phrase, but it comes from Green Lantern and having his wife, his wife was murdered and stuck in a fridge. Hence the term fridging that was used as Green Lantern's motivation to either get revenge or be a superhero or just move on to fight and all this other stuff. So Maria Hill was killed in the first episode, at the end of the first episode of Secret Invasion, which is 3 weeks ago. So I don't know what the time frame is when it comes to spoilers, but hey, 3 weeks ago today. The 3rd episode aired today. I got to watch it. I'm not looking forward to it, but it is what it is. Yeah, she was killed at the end of the first episode. Probably for multiple reasons. Maybe one of them was she wanted out of her contract or they didn't want to pay her enough, so she said, just kill me, and moved on from that. Now, why on earth would I talk about this in any way and make the comments as all about women and all this other stuff? Well, so, would you like to know how many of the male characters that were in some of the original, I guess, as this article puts it, the OG Marvel heroes? Let's see. Let's go down the list. Number 1, Groot. Oh, but Groot was brought back to life. Okay. So was Gamora. So yeah, we get to include Groot. If you include Gamora, I get to include Groot. Who's next? Gee, I don't know. Phil Coulson. He died. I think he died a couple of times. He may not be a superhero, but hey, technically Black Widow was not a superhero. Coulson did not have superpowers, but he was definitely killed on screen. So that's 2. Who else we got? Quicksilver, Wanda Maximoff's brother. He was killed. He was one of the original characters, and he ended up being a good guy. He saved his, I believe he took a bullet saving his sister's life and Hawkeye's life. So yeah, we get to include him too. Who's next? T'Challa, and they killed him off screen. Disrespectful to the man that made this character popular, in the movies anyway. But, oh, definitely can use T'Challa. Yondu. Yondu redeems himself in the end. 100% hero, in it from the beginning, in Guardians of the Galaxy from day 1. Definitely part of that list. Who else? Odin. Need I say more? What else we got? Heimdall. Heimdall, original in the very first Thor movie. He's an OG. They killed him. Who else? Loki. They brought Loki back. They brought Loki back quite a few times and killed him every time. Regardless of the fact that he does have a Disney Plus series, he was still killed off. And you know what? If you want to get technical with the fridging garbage, he was fridged in order to give Thor more of a purpose. What else we got? Vision. Another character that was fridged in order to give Scarlet Witch her oh so great motivation to become an evil twat and kidnap a whole town of people and anyway, make up her own children and use that make-believe children in order to go on a killing spree across the multiverse. Okay. What else we got? Iron Man. Oh my goodness. The one, the only, the man who sacrificed himself. The MCU killed him. Disney killed him in order to give, no, I don't think he was fridged. He sacrificed himself, just like the Scarlet Witch did, in order to save the multiverse, to save the universe, to save the world. Go figure. And finally, Steve Rogers. Now, why on earth? Steve Rogers is not technically dead, but he did grow old, and he will die because he's old, much like Peggy Carter. So if you're going to include Peggy Carter on this list, just because she grew old, I'm going to put this man on there. I'm not going to go into all the people that died in the Multiverse of Madness because you got Black Bolt, you got Mr. Fantastic, you have Professor X. Why would I not include them? Because the argument would be they were only showed up in one movie. It's part of a multiverse. It's this. Let's not make excuses. But there's 3 male characters that were killed in the MCU. Now, what does that running total get us? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Not including the 3 in Multiverse of Madness. So you want to go 11, 14 characters that were killed off. Then why is it so important? If we don't care about these, why should we care about the women? This is what happens in movies. Equal casting, equal writing, equal number of deaths. Except far more men in the MCU have been killed off in order to push the story forward in some way, shape, or form. Some of them were just killed off unceremoniously, like in the case of Heimdall for sure, maybe even Odin. But other characters, character death, hero death, whether they are male or female, are used as a literary device to push another character, another hero, to give them that motivation. Simply using the women as a scapegoat and calling it fridging while not addressing that male characters, male heroes, across all movies are used in the same manner is nonsensical. Did that make sense? I hope it did. But articles like this, I laugh at. You're making a point and you fail miserably at it. While you want to include the women in the conversation, try to include the men as well. They're used in the same manner. One is not better than the other. One is not worse than the other. Get over yourself. But what do I know? Let me know what you think in the comments. Leave a like, leave a dislike. I appreciate you making it this far. Have a good one.